you are not crazy. It does take longer and feel harder than you thought it was going to when you got started. Hi, I'm Sarah Greener. I'm the host of the Moxie Movement. And I want to talk about this whole concept of once you get into it, it feels harder, takes longer, requires more effort than you anticipated it was going to need when you got started. And you're right. You're not going crazy. That's exactly how it is. I want to talk today about why that is and what that means for you and how you can adjust so that you don't feel like you're going nuts all the time when things in your business and life take longer than you anticipated. I think part of it is that we don't ever see the full picture. We don't ever talk about how long it took for us to get to where we are today. We start talking when we start seeing some success, but often there was a journey before we started talking about or being open about or sharing our journey when it comes to business and life. I want to talk today about why this shows up. Why does this feel like it takes longer and is harder and requires more effort? And then I want to talk about what are some of the things you can do to make that easier for yourself. The reason I want to talk about this today is we finally are in the final days to the countdown to getting on a plane to leave New Zealand. We have been working towards this for 7 years. Now, I get there's been a worldwide pandemic. I get that we've had some health stuff go on in our household. There's been some mitigating factors, but that's life. It doesn't matter whether it's big giant things like health conditions or big government decisions that impact your ability to move about or do your business. Life always happens. There is always going to be things that you didn't know when you set out. But that's the first thing I want you to know. When you got out into this business journey, there was stuff you didn't know about running a business. You either bought an existing business and you had some of the information, you probably did great due diligence, but you didn't have all the information. Or you were working for someone else and you were great at what you did and you went, you know what, I can do this on my own. I can get out into business and do this for myself. But you didn't know the whole picture. And you never know what you don't know. And on this journey, that's a constant thing. We don't know what we don't know. We only make decisions in the moment based on the information that we have. That doesn't make it a bad decision. It just means in that moment when you made the decision, you had less information than you do now. And when you know better, you can do better. You can do a better job of estimating how long it's going to take, how much effort you're going to have to put in. Versus when you don't have that information, it's going to be much harder for you to estimate how long it's going to take and what sort of effort you're going to have to put in until you've done it for a little bit. The second reason that these things take longer and is harder than you anticipated is you are playing a game that only a very small percentage of people will ever do. You're probably surrounded by a lot of humans that look at what you're doing and think you're nuts. And maybe we are just a little bit nuts to be doing it. What you're doing is not normal. The average person doesn't know what it is to run a business, doesn't know what it is to be reliant on yourself for everything, to have people reliant on you for their employment, for their wages, for their professional development. To have that level of self-determination and know it is unusual. And it's in a game where the stats of your survival get worse the longer you play. I know. Not very motivational, not very positive, but truth. I always thought when I got to 5 years in business, I'd be done, I'd be good, and then I'd be smooth sailing from then. No. When I got to 10 years, it would be smooth sailing, it would be easier, and everything would go well. So no. Statistically, the longer you survive in business, the less your chances are survival going forward, which is challenging, but I also think it's because we don't know what we don't know. And understanding that those two fit together, that we're playing a game where the statistics of actual survival of people that stick it out and play this business game for the long time are very small. It also means that the number of people that understand what you're doing and how you're going through it are really small. And I know sometimes it feels like there's all these people talking about business now. It's still a really small percentage of the population that actually get out and do the do when it comes to running a business. So many people cannot speak to what you're going through and cannot understand what you're going through. So first thing is, you didn't know what you didn't know when you got started. So things do take longer and take more effort than past Sarah, when she got out into business at 25. She had no idea how long it was going to take to get to this place. The second thing is, you're probably surrounded by people that don't understand. So their expectation of how long it will take you to get to where you need to be. It might even be people that live in your house. It might be the person you're married to or you've chosen to spend your life with, or your children, or some really close friends that just don't get why you're not at the successful version of your business yet. It's just because they don't know, and they will never know unless they've done it. Your employees, people say they don't understand. And I'm like, no, and they will not understand unless they choose to go out in business for themselves. Don't expect people to understand something they've had no experience for. And this is one of those places where you have to get really good at surrounding yourself with people who are on the same journey with you, that are in the arena with you, because there are a lot of people that can sit on the sidelines and make comment, but very few people can actually get in the arena with you and do the work. So be very careful about that piece, so who you surround yourself with. If you don't have them in your day-to-day life, find yourself another community. I've had some clients recently that have popped off to Wellington to hang out with a group of girlfriends that they met online. They all run the same sort of business. They've connected up and they've gone away to this event this weekend. And, that, like, your people don't have to be where you're at. All of my best business friends are not where I live. They never have been. I've always had to connect with them online, even before 2020. So it is absolutely okay if your friend's on the end of the phone or on the end of a Zoom call or on the end of a chat. That's totally okay, but find yourself some of those people. And then I think the last piece of this is the reason that it takes longer and it feels harder is we're comparing ourselves to other people's journeys and other people's lives. And no one else, nowhere else is on the same journey as you. No one else has the same family life. No one else has the same life experience. No one else has the same business experience or the same employees that they've hired. No one has the same life journey and business journey that you have. When we look around and try and get a gauge on how well we're doing and how long should this take and how much effort should I be putting in, we're looking around at other people and trying to get a gauge off that, and you can't. You can't look at what I'm doing, where I'm at now, and compare it to your life where you're at now. And I can't take my life and compare it to someone else who's further ahead on the journey or further behind. There is no way to do that. And the ability to judge how long something should take and how much effort you should put into it is really hard because no one's having the same experience as you. For me right now, we're literally just getting to the point where we're like, the businesses can operate with us being anywhere. We've had a little test of it over the last few years. We've gone and done a month here and a month there and a month there, and some things worked really well and some things were terrible. We've fixed some of those things and we'll still have to fix things when we go. We sold our car on the weekend. That feels like a big significant step towards we're out of here. Thank goodness for parents with a spare car who have loaned us a car for the last couple of weeks. We are packing our things, getting rid of the last few things that we have. Our whole household is down to one wardrobe. But this has been a 7-year journey. We used to talk about getting back to this place. Johnny and I have been here in New Zealand running this business for coming up 17 years. When we first came back, the intention was to do 6 months in New Zealand and 6 months traveling. And that sounded really awesome. But as the business got more successful, our ability to shut it down for 6 months wasn't possible anymore. We didn't do the 6 months in New Zealand, 6 months traveling. We did a little bit, but not in the way that we had visualized it. And then, of course, we got married, we had a child, and we got a mortgage, and all of those things. Things changed. And a few years back, when we had a big reset, we sat down and talked about what it was we wanted and what our dreams were. And for both of us, the ability to move around more, to be more free in terms of our location was really important. But at that point, we wrote down that we wanted the ability to run our businesses from anywhere. It might mean that we still come back to New Zealand, and we absolutely will be coming back to New Zealand this year. But we wanted the ability to go places and have our businesses work while we're there. And so we wrote it down, we started working on it, And we nearly got there in 2020, and then we didn't quite make it. And then it's taken us another nearly 4 full years to get us back to a place where we both feel comfortable that we can go. In 2020, there was a whole lot of stuff that wasn't ready for us to go. We didn't have the house sorted so we could rent it out. I didn't have a super great structure for how my business was going to work online. And so it's taken us a lot longer time frame wise to get that sorted than we anticipated. It's also taken a lot more effort. So we thought that things would take less time, but we finally got there. And it's very exciting to be there. So I guess that experience has highlighted for me just how long it takes to shift your business to align with the life that you want, especially if you're like me. And I was so deep in a business model and a business experience and a way of being that was not working for me, that was absolutely not aligned for me. Versus now, my business and my life, super aligned, super blended. Every now and then I do something and I think, oh, that's how I used to work all the time. I had an experience of helping my parents out in their business a couple of weeks back where I ended up working during the week. I did an event for my own business on the weekend, then I worked during the week, and then I helped them out the next weekend. And I hadn't really looked at it and gone, oh, that's a 14-day stretch with no breaks. That's how I used to work all the time, with no breaks ever. 7 days a week, all the time, always on. And it was a real reminder to me that I shouldn't be doing that. So all of this to say, you're not crazy. It's totally normal. And I want to talk about what you can do a little bit differently to make sure that it doesn't feel like it's just a never-ending slog with no light at the end of the tunnel. Because I promise you it's not. That's really important to understand, is that today you is going to do some things for future you in your business, in your life, that's going to make it way, way better. Like I am incredibly grateful today for 35-year-old Sarah and 45-year-old Johnny, who sat down, got really clear on what we wanted, and then we have consistently taken action towards this. Regardless of the bumps, we've consistently taken action towards this life that we've got today. So that's the first one. You need to be really clear on what do you want your business and your life to look like when they blend together. Because we get caught up in the early days, and this is totally normal, in building the business and chasing the metrics in terms of the sales number and the profit number and getting new employees and getting to that place of having a business that looks real. The challenge with that is it's chasing somebody else's rules about what business should look like. And I really want you to think very clearly about what are the things that matter most to you in life, and how do I get my business to blend around those? I love my business. I get a great deal of pleasure out of it. It's definitely one of my highest life priorities. But if it's diminishing my relationship with Johnny and Scarlett, and it's diminishing my relationship with myself, it's not working for me. I want you to have complete clarity of what you want. And it's not allowed to live in your head anymore. You have to get it out of your head, down on paper. That's the very first thing. Really clear on what it looks like, feels, sounds, will be like when it's finished. It's also so you can't move the finish line, because you and I as business owners, we're really good at moving the finish line. Just when we're about to get there, I was like, oh, it could be better if we did this. No, we want to be really clear about what finished looks like now for you in the future, so that when you get there, you can stop and celebrate how amazing it is. The second thing is, I want you to make sure you've got some people around you that are cheering you on. You need that accountability. You need that support. You need that community. I'm blessed in that I have that in my husband and my daughter, my parents. I have an amazing but tight-knit small group of business friends who are really cheering me on to get to the life I want. Not what they think I should do, but what I have told them that I want. So share that vision with people in safe spaces. Find those safe spaces where people are like, that's awesome that you want to do something a bit different. Or that's awesome that you want to build that. Find those people and make sure that they're celebrating with you and they are helping you get where you need to go. All right? It's really important. Without that, it feels really lonely. And I did a lot of years doing it lonely. Even with a significant other that's in the business with me, I wasn't good at being clear about what I wanted and us lifting each other up. And we've got better as we've got older and wiser and better at communicating those things. So find those people that are going to hold you up. And the third thing is, you need a really clear plan of what you're going to do each and every week to get yourself closer to that goal. And You won't know what all the steps are when you get started. You know how I said you don't know what you don't know? On this journey, you still don't know everything. I still don't know everything. I'm still learning things. I'm still discovering things. And when I learn more, I can go faster. I can do things better. What I mean by that is every week I want you to be checking in and reconnecting with what is it that I'm trying to build in my business and my life and how they blend together. And what's the little steps, the little changes that I need to make each and every week to get there. Because if every week you're sitting down and you're designing your week going, how do I get to where I want to be, and investing your time that way, eventually you will 100% get there. You will see movement, you'll see traction, even on the bad days, you will know that you are further along the journey than you were, and you'll be grateful for past you for doing that. But you've got to do those 3 things. Get clear on what you want. Find yourself some accountability, buddies, partners, community, try whatever it is for you to help you along that way. And then take action each and every week. Because yes, it does take longer than you thought when you got started, and it is harder than you thought when you got started. And the only reason for that is you didn't know what you didn't know, and now some more stuff. You've got to overcome those things, you've got to work through them, and you absolutely can. The decision to get into business was a great decision, but it wasn't in the moment that you decided to start your own business that it became a great decision. It's been in all the moments since then, as you've taken action and you've worked to make it a great decision, that will make it a great decision. Any decision can be a crappy one or a great one. It's all in what you do, what actions we take in the moments after that make it a good decision or a bad decision. You're not crazy. It is taking longer, and it does feel like it needs more effort, and it is a bit harder than you anticipated, and that's totally okay because you're wiser now and more. You can take the right actions going forward. And if you'd like some help with that, come join us at the Moxie Movement. We'd love to have you as part of our journey. Until next time, stay Moxie.